So hey guys, warm welcome. Armin van Buuren here. Welcome to my studio. And can you hear me? I think they can hear me. Big shout out to everybody currently in my Discord. I'm reading along with you. So there's a few things that are new. First of all, I'm wearing glasses. And second, I thought it would be cool to show you what I'm doing here. Every year I try to make the State of Trance Yearmix, which is, I don't know, a silly idea that I started in 2004 to cram more than 100 tracks in less than 2 hours, sort of giving an oversight of what's happening in the year of trance music. So it's really a trance dedicated mix that I do every year. And yeah, it's always a bit of a work. It usually takes me 2 full weeks of studio time, plus a lot of preparation. This is what it looks like so far. If you can see my screen, I'm using Ableton Live, the last version of it. And yeah, I developed a little routine of how to make these year mixes. And I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions about how I'm doing the mix. I'm going to be live for quite a while. I'm actually going to be live for the next 4 hours. So you can watch how I'm actually doing the mix and how I'm compiling the mix. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them in my Discord. Go to my Discord and then hop into the live stream chat. I'm reading along with all the chats right now. Big shout out to everybody watching on Twitch as well. Big shout out to the fans on YouTube. And I'll be explaining little things about what I'm doing while making the mix. Currently, I'm at, let's say, 46 minutes into the mix, and I've already been spending 5 days in this studio. I usually finish about 5 to 10 minutes of the mix each day, and I have to deliver the master on Friday, so I still have a lot of work to do. So what I'm actually doing is making the year mix. The year mix will be broadcasted as well as part of A State of Trance, the last official episode, and will be released. I think this is the 19th edition of the year mix, and I always spend a lot of time on it. So all the tracks that I use are actually cleared. I ask for permission to use the masters. So there's a lot of masters, of course, from Armada, but there's also a lot of masters from other labels. So we actually ask for permission to use the rights. What makes my job a lot easier is the fact that many colleagues send the stems of the mixes, so the separate acapellas, the separate kicks and drums. So I'm actually deconstructing a lot of the tracks, so I can actually make and combine all those elements and make the year mix. So it's a lot of work. I enjoy it, although yeah, it does take a lot of my time, but I really enjoy listening to all the big tracks of the year. So right now, I'll show you a little bit how I normally work. In the Ableton session, this is a comp track, so I just use that to import tracks. These are the audio files. I only use 5 audio tracks. Why? I don't particularly put like a new track per track, because this gives me a better opportunity to see what I'm actually doing. I know a lot of you out there would probably make a new track for every new song that you import. I don't do that because for the sake of yeah, overview. And here's a few effect tracks. So here are all the acapellas. They run through a chain, and there's some effects and reverb going on, but I try to minimize the use of the number of tracks just to keep an oversight for myself. So let's go into some questions. If you have any questions during the mixing, just let me know. Yeah, we have a slider cam going on. How much computer storage is needed for all the components of the mix? So actually not that much. I'm working on the new Mac M1, and I have the SSD. I think it's the 8 terabyte one. This is actually my studio one, my laptop that I take on the road, and also the one I use in my studio. So yeah. All right, so yeah, let me continue the mix. Right now I'm at 46-7 minutes into the mix. I'm in G minor, And I'm so thankful to Gareth for sending me the parts of his wonderful song with Robbie Womble. So here you can see that this is the actual track. But he also sent me the acapella. And now I'm at the point in the mix where I feel that his bass line is great, but I actually want a section where I just have the drums going and not the bass line. So I'm going to import the percussions as well. And I'm going to import, oh, wait, he's rendered them at a higher bit rate. So I'm just using iTunes to convert his tracks. I want these elements, so I'm going to convert these to 44.1, which is the current rate I'm working on. There we go. And I'll be importing those here. Right. Ooh, these are running terribly out of sync. Why is that? Okay. There you go. Okay. I just want the kick. I'm gonna bump it up. So I've got the breakdown of this track I absolutely love by Rubik and Corti organ, and but it's just a breakdown, and I don't want the beat to stop for the Yearmix. So I took the kick of Gareth's track, and that's actually continuing. And here's a track from Ferry Corson called with Morgan Page, that's actually the percussion of that. I've extended it, so the mix seems seamless that way. It's kind of the Yearmix style. So at this particular time, there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 tracks running at the same time. It's the loop from a Purple Haze track. It's the hi-hats from Garrett's track. And it's a loop from Ferry's track. It's of course the Rubik, which is the main melody. And there's the kick from Garrett's track. And here you hear that reverb, which is actually the last bit of Garrett's track, with a lot of reverb on it, so to smooth out the transition. And I took the acapella from Garrett's track as well, which is the last bit right before the transition. So. Now we can make this transition a little nicer by, for example, doubling the kicks here. And then maybe reversing this one. Reverse clip. So I'm using fades. Here we go. And this one could use, actually I think it could use a cymbal to smooth out this transition a little bit. Just really soft, not too loud. That works. Let me see. Just wondering if you have any more techno style bangers like Computers Take Over the World. Maybe. I don't know yet. I'm taking your questions on my Discord. Yeah, I'm working on a lot of stuff actually. So when the year mix is finished, I'm going back into the studio. Yeah, a lot of exciting tracks. So I don't know if there's a follow-up for Computers Take Over the World, but that would be nice. If the track stems are not available or not giving to Armin, how is a track broken down into stems? Or does Ableton do that as well? Good question. No, actually not. There is, I get the stems of almost half of the tracks of the year mixes that I request. And if it doesn't, sometimes I don't need it. Sometimes I just use the extra track. There's usually elements in the beginning and the ending of the extended version of a track. So I use a lot of loops and stuff, and that's actually the easiest. Sometimes I want the a cappella from a song and it wasn't given to me. And in that case, there's many websites that actually give you stems. That's actually new. It's the first time this year I'm actually using the stems, generated by an AI. I'll show you in a bit as well. So I'm now at 48 minutes in the mix. What's really important is the planning. I'm using Rekordbox. Here are all my, here's the mix so far. I'm at track 49 in the year mix. And yeah, I'm just in G minor right now. And I'm trying to think what track I'm gonna do next. Because I still have a few tracks that I want to include. It's always a little difficult before we go into the uplifting stuff, because the BPM of the mix, goes up gradually during the mix. I'm actually getting to the fun part now where all the uplifting tracks come in. The beginning is always a little slower. So it really takes you on a journey, the mix. So for me, there's always a build and a review phase. So I'm actually building the mix right now, making the transitions. And as you can see, only 1 minute of audio takes me at least an hour just to make sure all the effects are right and stuff. And I'm just carefully looking at the playlist to see what track I'm going to pick next to use. So I'm in G minor now. I could go into D minor. Yeah, let me think. So many great tracks. I mean, it's it's really fighting because I know I only have I only have space for about 105 songs, and right now I've selected 143. So that means you're killing 40 tracks, which I actually don't like to do because there's so much good stuff. And it's always really hard. It's like making a DJ set. You can't always play every song you want, but it's a really hard one. So we're in this track. We could go into D minor right now, but from D minor, I can go to wait. See, here's a little trick I'm using. I really like this track by Buuren. I want to include it in the mix. Perhaps it fits after the 130 D minor. Because if I speed up C sharp minor 124 to 130, it's actually half a key. So that should bring me to D minor. Let's just try. So first, let me import this one. So I'm using this track to sort of getting the rundown of a track. What for me are the highlights of this track? It's actually a good example. This is a great track, and it's here's a spoiler alert. This track is doing well in the standings so far for the Tune of the Year voting. Every year I ask you guys to vote for your favorite tracks, and a lot of people do. And I can have a look at the standings so far, and I decide my choices for the Yearmix on that list. Also on my personal preference, of course, but most of the tracks are actually in the top 100 of the standings so far. The voting is still open, but it gives you a quick rundown of what you guys actually like or think are the biggest trance tracks of the year. And this track was actually, I think, in the top 60 or something. Now, I've requested the acapella, but hey, I don't know. They were probably too busy, or they didn't want to give the acapella, which happens a lot. So I'm actually using this website, which is mvsep.com. Absolutely love that one. And I'm just dropping the track in here because I think it would be cool to have the acapella from here. And this one does the magic. I'm actually using this one, this algorithm. We want WAV. I'm not a robot. And I'm going to separate this track. So this is usually where I get coffee. Can anybody make me coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great, thank you. Would Need You Now be in the Yearmix at all? No, because it's not from this year. Let me see. Since David Guetta is releasing an album next year, will there finally see you two collaborate? I'd love to collaborate, but I guess he's too busy. I've asked him about it, and yeah, we've been sending each other tracks back and forth, but so far it hasn't happened. So, beautiful track by Azel, but is not trance. That's your opinion. Where do you get the excellent storytelling ideas from? Let's start the Yearmix series. Oh, thank you. I always choose a theme. Here's a spoiler alert. I've actually asked Roland Clark to do the intro this year for the Yearmix, and I'm really, really excited about him. And we talked about it. Talked about situation in the world. Try to shed some positivity, and yeah, the storytelling this year I think is really beautiful. So. Does it take more time because you were explaining to us? Yeah, a little bit, but I actually enjoy it because normally I'm in this room for 2 weeks, just sitting here by myself. And I thought, after 20 years doing this Yearmix, I thought I might as well share this with you guys. So the mix gets done now. After I'm actually done with the mix, it gets sent to mastering. Arjan Rietvink in the Netherlands, great guy. He always helps me with mastering. He has some fresh ears. But before I sent the stems of the Yearmix to him, I actually road tested. I listened to the mix like at least 4 or 5 times in its entirety, and then I, tweak and there's so many edits in the mix. Usually I end up with something like 3,000-4,000 clips, and it's just a lot. What artist would not give Armin their acapella? Yeah. Hey man, you're right. I need more acapellas. Hey Armin, can I use Magic Music Maker to make that kind of music? Why not? It's not about the kitchen. It's about the chef. I keep saying this. I don't care if you use FL Studio, Pro Tools, you know, the coolest rig out there. It really doesn't matter. It's all about what's in your head and if you can make it sound cool, you know. The stuff you can do now with a laptop of just a few $100 and some plugins is, I mean, imagine if Mozart would have had a laptop, a modern day laptop, you know. So how does this work in music voice separation? So I've just asked this website, mvsep.com, to separate this this track for me, and this is what he's done. I've just played you the track. What I want is I want the drums, I want the vocals, and an alternative take on the vocals. Let's see. What is really important when you do a mix like this is that you're really well organized. So a lot of time actually I spend to get most of the wavs and the stems, of course, are working in an organized way. So now I'm actually making a new folder in my stems section and writing down that I've used MVSep to separate the stems. I would never use this for a release, but for a year mix, I think it's okay. You know, I'd rather have the original stems, which makes it sound better. But let me see. Here I am. So I got the stems, and then I put it in the Yearmix stems. So here we go. They just gave me the stems. Let's see which vocal processing I like. Dankjewel. Sounds good. Now I line it up with the original track so I can see what I'm actually doing. And you see there's a lot of artifacts going on. But it did a job. So let's get the original length of the file here. Make sure the track starts at 1. Now I want to line up the original track with the vocals so I know what section I'm in. It makes my job easier. So let's first see if what I have actually makes sense and if it sounds good. All right, who said this wasn't trance? For me, this has trance with a capital T written all over it. So yeah, this is D minor. It should go over G minor. They're in the same chord, so let's try if this, see if this works. If it doesn't, then bad luck for me. So I paste the acapella here, and first let's see if it works. And that happens all the time. Ableton starts buffering. I don't know what that is, but it buffers the audio. I don't know, it's doing all kinds of things in the background and it's annoying. But it means coffee time. And they love my glasses. Thank you. I don't like them, but I need them. So, yeah, so Ableton, I don't know what Ableton's doing, but maybe it's having a bathroom break, I don't know. But I have to wait. So I usually, when Ableton starts buffering, I usually save it and I use this number. So this is the 31st time I actually saved the entire project. So let's see if this works. Woo! So now I've combined a track from Rubik, which is in G minor, with a D minor track, and I'm lucky with the melody of the vocal because it actually just fits. So I have the a cappella from one track going over Rubik. So this is a mashup that you actually don't hear anywhere else except for in the Yearmix. So this is what makes the Yearmix special for me, that you get all these combinations that you wouldn't get anywhere else. And that's where we can have the original track. Okay, looks like the BPM is going up. It sounds a little bit off. Ooh, that's off. Now I'm fixing all the levels. I have to give a shout out to my buddy Benno, who I produce with a lot in the studio here. He made this VLM loudness meter, which you normally use in software, which gives me the average loudness. And what I try to do when I deliver the mix to Arjan, I try to have an average loudness of -18 LUFS. That's a little bit nerd talk, I know, but so it gives the master a lot of space to actually play with the levels and play with the mastering. And it has a lot of room to still EQ. So I'm trying to stay out of the reds, obviously. So every track, most of the tracks are mastered, unfortunately, but yeah, I try to keep everything at a -17. So if you see this little gauge there, you see that I'm trying to uphold like a -18, -17. So when it goes into mastering, he has a lot of headroom to make it even sound greater. Oh, great. Ableton has decided to go on another toilet break. And don't worry, I've fixed my buffer size and everything, but sometimes it's just... When will the full tracklist be released? Well, I'm actually making the mix as we speak. So when it's done, and when we've cleared all the rights with everybody, when we made sure that everybody's happy, because, you know, these tracks are all owned by labels, you know, and we have to respect the rights. So unfortunately, I can't use every track that I want to use in the Yearmix. That has to do with licensing. It's very unfortunate, but still, I dare to say that 80% of the tracks that we request actually get approved. So thank you, big thank you to all the labels that help us out, because we have to respect the rights, guys. So all the tracks are cleared, so we can only announce the track list if everybody's happy and all the paperwork is signed. So that's important. So let me jump forward into the questions. Hey Armin, I got an interesting question. When layering tracks with vocal acapellas, do you leave the stereo image intact? I mean, don't you have to reduce some of the sides of the vocals which you want to mix with the next drop track? Which sometimes I hear drop tracks in your Yearmixes with the vocals of another track. That's why I'm asking you if you tweak the stereo image as well. I actually don't. I have a what I have here is a vocal chain. This is the vocal chain that I'm using in the Yearmix, which is a little delay, little reverb that I play with and I automate. And I use the LFO tool. Thank you so much for that. That I automate as well to give space in the mix, you know, for when the kick comes in. But actually, I usually leave the stereo image untouched. And if it really sounds not good, I export it, I tweak the stereo image, and I import it back into Ableton. So just so I have audio. So I'm trying to keep my workflow. Do you need a powerful PC or Mac to do this? Maybe minimize the buffering. No, I think with the current, I mean, I'm using the M1 right now. For me, it is stable. I don't know. They did something with the update on Ableton. In the background, there's some buffering going on. Usually, if you just wait for a minute, it sorts everything out. But there's already a lot of clips in this mix. I mean, look, this is my painting so far. And it gets worse. The only downside is that the further I am in the mix, it takes longer to save. So, how often do you take the Yearmix? Well, I do the Yearmix once a year. That's why it's a Yearmix. Except for last year, then I did two. I did one for ASOT 1000, which I'm really proud of. How do you progress through the journey in a way that builds the intensity and keeps the journey moving, other than BPM? I don't mind BPM so much. I mean, in general, I'd like to start around 128 and end up at 138, but it's not set in stone, you know. I look at an order of tracks. You know, if you listen to a mix that's 2 hours, it's got to have some sort of a flow, have some sort of a journey, you know, slower bits, faster bits, and all that sort of stuff. Do you use pseudo beat overlay for smoothing transition? Yeah. How many tracks of the Yearmix did you play in your live sets? I would say more than half, for sure. ASOT 11 celebration mix next year? No. What watch are you wearing? It's Armin with a Garmin. Very simple. Means computer's out of memory, probably saving into the drive. Yes. What about releases in November and December? There's a lot of releases coming up. Actually, on the radio show, I'm going to be announcing the State of Trance Anthem, which is not going to be called 1100. It's going to be called the 2023 Anthem. Why is Gunshot, Bogdan Vix not on the list? Well, it either means it was either in last year's year mix, or it wasn't in the top 100 of the standings so far for the Tune of the Year voting. Will you make a collab with Chicane? I did. We worked on Offshore this year, and it's actually in the year mix. Will you release the next ASOT theme? December 5th. There you go. I really want to release a collaboration with Martin Garrix. Is it possible to do this? Actually, I sent him something. Here's a little scoop. So, Martin, come back to me. He really liked it. So, yeah, hopefully. Will Computers Take Over the World make it into the year mix? Good question. See, for me, the mix and the flow of the mix is more important than the tracks. So if it means that a really, really big track doesn't fit the flow of the mix, then sorry, I won't include it. But usually I end up squeezing it in somewhere. So let me continue with the mix right now. So I see that my levels, I have to fix the levels here, guys, because I'm way too loud. Good. I'm happy with this. I'm not 100% happy yet, but you know, I'm in my build phase. I'm going to build it, and then there's a review phase after I listened to it in my car. It's so strange. Like I listen here in my studio, and then I go for a run, or I go for a little drive. I listen to the 10 minutes I just mixed, and I'm like, oh, that needs fixing, that needs fixing, that needs fixing. So it's not perfect yet, but I'm happy with the transition so far. And yeah, it works for me right now. Cool. So we go on with the track selection. I really like this one by Orion. I already included an Orion track earlier in the mix. It is in D minor as well, but you know, there's 143 tracks I need to include. So, and I know this one wasn't high in the standings so far, so I may not include it. I haven't decided yet. But then you can actually see that the track list of the mix is really, you know, I haven't made it up beforehand. It really goes. Yeah, same goes for the track I did with Simon Ward. So, you know, even my track with Simon Ward, Hey, I Miss You, probably won't be in the year mix because it doesn't fit. So there you go. Now Lurum is in C sharp minor, so it should fit the D. I'm not really sure if the vibe of this track fits the EDM sound of that one Rave Culture track, but we'll see. Sometimes you'll be surprised. Beautiful track. I really love this one. They should. They stole their synth from Artbat, I think. They want them back. They just got a phone call. No, I'm kidding. Yay, love it. So we go from a EDM track. I mean, this mix proves you why the whole debate about what is trance and what is future rave tech, no melodic. I mean, every time Beatport puts up another category, I'm lost for what is what, you know. For me, both these tracks are trance. Okay, end of discussion. For me, again, if you guys have a different opinion, that's fine. But I mean, I love this EMKR track, and I also love the Lurum track. And if I fit it into my set, you know, who cares what it is? If it's good music, it's good music. Could be cool to have that a cappella going again here. There's no section in here that I can use, so... So in the mix so far, I've already included 4 above and beyond tracks. And I'm only allowed to use 5, so I have to choose. And we can go for the one with Marty Longstaff. I absolutely love that one. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can make this work. So we go from C sharp minor to G sharp minor. I don't know if I can make this work, but we'll see. Oh, it's actually major, I think. So there's 2 things we can try. Either see. Do I have that Lou Room a cappella? I do. They gave me the acapellas. Thank you. That sample, Space is Infinity, I think that's so nice. It would be nice if that runs through the Above and Beyond track as well. So thank you, Lou Room. Thank you guys for sending me the stems. You guys are amazing. And here we have
Singularity, existence, eccentricity, space is infinity.
Love it. Yep.
Singularity, existence.
Okay, so maybe this sounds better if I put it here. Nice. I like that. And I'm so glad that that track is in because I absolutely love it. So we went from C sharp minor to G sharp minor. That means I can't use that one. And we can go to the Lone Ranger, I think. Or so if you've just joined us, very warm welcome from my studio here in the beautiful hometown of Leiden. This is where all the magic is made. And I'm working on the State of Trance Yearmix 2022, which is due for release on the end of December. No, I think it will drop it earlier in December, actually. And I already need to finish it because, you know, we need to master it, upload it, and everything to make it available. And of course, it will be broadcasted for you guys to enjoy, including a special video mix. I'm actually working on the mix right now, and I'm 50 minutes into the mix, so it still means I have an hour and 10 minutes to go. And yeah, I'm showing you all the bits and bobs. So let me see some questions. Hello, Elvira. What's up? I'm taking questions in my Discord. I'm just I've set up a Discord, and we have a live stream chat. Could we please see anywhere in Europe before ASOT Utrecht? Well, you know, I would love to play somewhere in Utrecht, but I actually want to finish a lot of music, so. Can can you share some stories about your old year mixes? Like, what's the difference in the production process? Cool question. Well, obviously, Ableton has been updated. I remember I did the very first year mix, I think, in the 3rd or 4th version of Ableton, and now it's at 11, I think. So now it's a lot easier, I would say. It's more quick, and you can include more. But basically, the process is still the same. You know, I started these year mixes as a gift to all the listeners of the radio show. Trust me, financially, it's not the best decision. But I just love doing these mixes. You know, big shout out to the Jedi Master Ben Liebrand, who, you know, I was a big fan of his grand mixes. I still am. He still does them, and they're still amazing. And he actually showed me Ableton, I think the very first version. And I was like, what? Is this possible? I actually produce normally in Logic, but I love Ableton too. So, you know, for me, I'm not an Ableton freak per se. I love everything, and this computer is packed with way too many plugins, and you don't actually need them. You know, you only need a few. Is the cover of the year mix ready? We're working on that as well. Let me see. I actually have a picture, I think. Let me go to the Dropbox. State of Trance year mix artwork. So the artwork idea is this. It's the earth cut in half with the wires in between. Can you see that? So this is actually the artwork idea. So this is not the finished cover yet, but I think it's cool. And the guy, Vincent, big shout out to him, and Sander are actually finalizing that. And it's going to be really cool. And it fits the theme of the previous year mixes. So... op mijn scherm. Ja, dat kan ook. I'll show it to you. Artwork idea. This is the idea of the artwork right now. See, so the Earth is actually not filled with lava or magma. It's actually filled with wires. It's a joke, of course, but yeah, it would make a cool T-shirt, don't you think? Will your dance department show be broadcast in video format? When I do it live, yes, baby, but usually I can't because I'm always on the road. Can you introduce other people with you in the studio? I can, I guess. Kosijn from my social media team. Lisan, who's part of all the press. And Floris, who's actually who's doing all the video rendering right now. Any future collaborations with Above and Beyond? Yeah, we should do one. I should actually send a message to Pavo or Jono or Tony. But, you know, can somebody buy me more time? Let me see. Armin, tell Cos we said hi. Will there be video cuts of the year mix? Yes, I think we'll be doing a video mix, right? Yeah. Yep, we're doing another video mix. Two very big questions from Tali Karis. I'm taking questions in my Discord, guys. If you're watching this live stream and you're on Discord, that's actually the only platform that I'm communicating on directly right now. Of course, I still love Instagram and Twitter, and I'll be posting on there, but my Discord is the best way to use right now. Do you plan on doing a back-to-back with Ruben or a collab with him? Yes, why not? I would love to do a track with Ruben. One day it will happen, I'm sure. I know that the tune of the year voted by all of us. Just wondering if you have voted yet. And what was your vote? I haven't voted yet. I'm still deciding. I think the Jewels, that's probably my favorite track. I'm not sure yet. That Lurum track I just played you, I absolutely love. There's so many great ones. But I'm still deciding. I'll let you know in the Christmas episode when we do the broadcast. Very nice hoodie. You look wonderful in it. It's so crazy. Thank you. I'm also a small trance DJ. No, you're not. You're just a big DJ as well. Love all your works. Thank you so much for all your kind words. Why are you using Ableton instead of Logic? Well, Ableton is just really great with tempo. You know, I guess you could do this in Logic, but I'm just fluent with this in Ableton. And like I said, I love Logic. That's what I make most of my music in. But yeah, Ableton is just easier for the year mixes. Actually, we used to do all the ASOT radio shows in Ableton. Will the mix include exclusive from Feel Again Part 3? Yes. Can you say something about Feel Again Part 3? It will include a lot of tracks that are still on this hard drive and are not finished yet. So when I'm finished with the Yearmix, I'll continue finishing Part 3. Any thoughts on the pajamas? Well, you guys caused quite a stir in the office because yeah, we're actually looking at making the ASOT pajamas because you guys wanted it. Have you voted for one of your own tracks for ASOT Tune of the Year before? No. Do you also make the Yearmix? Do you make it like this back in the first edition? Yes. I made the first edition of the Yearmix exactly the same way. Just an earlier version, of course. Have you ever played anywhere in Northern Ireland? Yes, I love Northern Ireland. What was it? Lush? Was it Lush in Portrush? I love that. Love that venue. Do you use any plugins on your master channel? No. Well, I have one, but it's not on. It's just a Pro L2 limiter that I just use for reference. I'm trying to stay away from using too many plugins, except EQ, of course. And of course, on the vocal chain, there's a big thing going on with compression and all. But no, this is basically the raw material. The less I use, you know, this is just coming from experience. Just usually makes it more easy. Will you make more meditation music? Maybe, but it's not my priority at the moment. Greetings from Norway. No question for me today. Just here to support my favorite artist. Shout out to Orion, my big friend from Norway. All right. So we're in G sharp. New Year, the Lone Ranger. I love that track. So we're gonna try to see if we can fit it in. It also means that we're. Let me see. I love this one too. So here's a little thing about the stretching. I'm trying to avoid using anything else but repitch, but for vocals, I guess it's okay. I'm just trying to use the algorithm that usually fits. So the track that has the low, I usually tend to stay away from using time stretching. For this particular track, you hear that the Above and Beyond track is 126. It's in the same key as the New Year track. Just the New Year track is 2 BPMs higher, so you can hear it slightly off. So let's see if this makes it sound... Makes it sound a bit better, yeah. Now you can hear that there's two kicks running at the same time, so it makes the kick a bit loud. So that's why I'm using LFO tool. I mean, you can use many of those sequence plugins, but I tend to use this to get rid of a little bit of the top end of the kick. So I'm just going to turn this device off for the entire duration and just turn it on when that track comes in. Cool. Okay. I guess we're at track 54 of the year mix so far. Zullen we even een pauze nemen? Okay guys, I'm gonna take some more questions. Armin didn't vote for Tune of the Year. Not yet. I will. Don't worry. Very cool session. We missed the collab with Gaia. I'm working with Benno on some new Gaia stuff, so don't you worry, guys. Totally in love with your Cosmic Gate collab. Let me see. I'm gonna head out for some lunch, guys, but we'll stay online for a bit, and I'll be back in half an hour or so. Will there be Moons of Jupiter Part 2? I'd love to do one, but I'm not gonna say yet. When are we come in France? You mean when am I gonna come in France? Next year, hopefully. Are you going to be able to rest with this Christmas with your family? Yes, yes. Cool. So many messages. When will the lineup be announced for State of Trance 1100? We're still finalizing all the contracts, but it's pretty cool. I'm really happy with it, so it's gonna work. Yesterday you listened to 2021. Pretty cool. Moons of Jupiter Part 2. I don't know Part 2. Maybe something else. I'm just still thinking. Will there be a remix album? Not planned on any. How about a collab with Kygo? I'm down. It's all about the idea, right? What do you like to think of the surge of popularity of vinyl? I love it. Will you do a more classic set like the one played at ASOT Utrecht? Yes, on Friday. Plans for New Year's Eve? Dubai. Will you be playing in Tenerife? No, I would love to. What are you going to eat right now? I'm going to eat some sandwiches. So, guys, yeah, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back in about 20 minutes if you guys are okay with that. Little coffee, little toilet break, some sandwiches, and we'll be right back. And for the Renegade Master.
Or will only
zeker. Hey guys, how are you? Just back from a lunch break, toilet break, and continuing back on the Yearmix 2022. If you've just tuned in, I'm making the Yearmix 2022 right now live in my studio, in my home studio. Something I'm always really excited to do. It'll be broadcasted, this mix, as part of the State of Trance right before the end of the year, and also released commercially. So all the tracks I'm using, I'm actually clearing, getting the rights from the owners. Almost halfway the mix. The track list is based on the votes of the standings so far. The voting is still open. Vote.thestateoftrance.com. Leave your 5 favorite tracks. I have that list. I'm not going to show you because that will ruin the surprise. And mixing the mix. So this is how it looks so far. This is my painting. And there's a lot of labor of love in here. I always love doing these mixes because it really puts me into the music. And it's great to hear all those tracks from 2022. I think 2022 was another great year for trance music. There was a lot of hidden gems. And thank you so much for everybody that voted, because your vote actually means a lot, and I'm actually using that. Big shout out to everybody on my Discord. I'm chatting with you right now. Shout out to all the moderators on there. You guys do a great job. Let's take some questions. Will there be some new meditations on Insight Timer? Yes, but I need to buy some time. Will the Yearmix be on vinyl? Can you ask Cloud9, please? I really want the Yearmix on vinyl. Or what about cassette? I think a cassette of the Yearmix would be cool, right? Ask the people at Cloud9 who released the Dutch version of that. I really want it, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen. Will there be a collab with David Guetta? I already answered that. Not in the works at the moment, but who knows? Armin is Armin, not to be mixed up with A minor. Let me see. What other questions am I seeing here on how do you approach 2 tracks with matching keys but different BPM? I try to avoid that. Like I said before, I'm trying to use repitch as much as I can, simply because it has less artifacts. I like it in a mix when it's as smooth as possible and I'm not using a lot of time stretching. So I've done my homework. So right before I went into mixing this Yearmix, I carefully put everything into BPM and in key. This is the way I do it. Big shout out to everybody of a Mixed in Key Live. I think that's a great plugin. It's made by my boy Kashmir, who did a great job. It helps. There's an update actually. It helps a lot, but I think you have to find your own way, you know. I know a lot of you like to use the Camelot wheel. That's fine. I'm old school. I've used this way of measuring my BPMs and keys since 2004. And before that, I simply didn't hear from the Camelot wheel. So this is just the way I do it. I'm not saying it's the perfect way. I just enjoy doing it this way. So so I'm now at track 55 into the Yearmix. And I decide on the track list as we go. So I'm getting close to the uplifting section right now. So these are all the harder and more uplifting tracks, which is will be the second hour of the year mix. And as you can see, there's a lot of work actually goes into mixing the tracks. So on average, a track will be in the mix between 30 seconds or a minute. You know, hate or love these mixes, but they do give a little bit of an overview of the year. I like to listen to those mixes. Like I said before, shout out to Ben Liebrand, who always made the Grand mixes. This is definitely inspired about that, but it's my interpretation of that, and I think it's great to have some sort of an overview. If you listen to previous year mixes, I hope it brings back memories of that particular year. Maybe you could let me know, shout out on people on my Discord right now, what's your favorite year mix so far? I know a lot of people like 2011, 2012, 2008, so yeah, cool. Are there any other Armin only world tours in the near future? Not planned, but could be. Have you ever considered an album lost tapes or mashups for your set? Yeah, the problem with mashups is that if we release them, we need to clear the rights with two parties, and that's usually a bit difficult. So that's why we have these year mixes. How hard was it to decide which tracks to choose from Giuseppe? I mean, all his tracks are amazing. Yeah, that is... I mean, the reality of the situation is that these are just 100 tracks, okay? And I'm not saying this mix is perfect. There's probably many more great trance tracks in this year, but it's, you know, it gives some sort of an overview of 2022. If your favorite is not on there, I'm sorry, I simply can't include every track. I mean, 2 hours, as long as it may seem, simply not enough to include all the great music. So to answer your question about Giuseppe's track, there's two Giuseppe tracks in the mix right now. I've just used the ones that were highest in the standings of the year so far for the tune of the year. Do you clear there's not a real number one this year? I'm not sure. I think I've seen one that has a chance of coming tune of the year. My favorite, I think, is the Jules Vision. I love that track. How many days the mix will be ready? Well, hopefully Friday. I know Frank in the Armada office is waiting for me to finish this as soon as I can. So I'm gonna work really hard the next couple of days to finish the year mix. So because it needs to go to mastering, and that usually takes another week. So yeah. I see you play Gob Beach Party in Machine Hills, but my dream is to have your autograph. Yeah, it would be great. Are there no phasing issues when you put the acapella on top of the original track? I'm not using two acapellas on one spot. I'm just lining them up. So I know where the section is, you know, to have the one of the vocal actually on the right time. But I'm not phasing, I'm not playing it twice. How many hours are you working per day? Well, on the year mix, it's currently, I think it's definitely 10 hours, but you know, I just want this baby to be finished. So if you guys don't mind me, I'm going to continue the mix. So going from D flat minor to D minor, which is possible because the previous track is 128 and I'm going to 135, so that's approximately a semitone. And again, I think Ben has given me, yes, Ben Gold, I love you. You've given me all the stems. Wow, can you believe it? When Ben Gold does a track, he actually has 135 channels. My God. It's great. And you see how much this guy puts into his songs. Rest of Our Lives is a track I want to include. It's so amazing. And yeah, he sent me all the stems. Wow. But the only one I need right now is the vocal dry. Oh my God, he has a whole thing going on. Vocal wet, ad-libs plus texture. These are just the ad-libs.
For you.
Okay, this is too much. There's no grouped stem. I mean, you know, some people just deliver their stems. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to save the Yearmix. And this takes a lot of time. Actually, I'm going to save it as version 33. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to open a new live set. A fresh one. Because Ben has decided to give me the stems, but then literally every stem that he's used for Rest of Our Lives, which is great. But it's not, I can't really import that into my session. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have all his stems. I'm not sure if these are even the right, this looks like these are 96K files. I think they are. No, they're 44.1 actually. Okay, great.